Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another CineDB.insights talk, which is an offspring of the CineDB.africa conversation series, a series of in-depth encounters with film professionals from the continent. These were developed by a group of African curators as part of the CineDB.africa project of the Goethe Institute, which is now accessible through the e-portal of the Durban Film Art Institute, which is the home of CineDB.africa. I am super happy to have a special guest that we decided to invite also to be a part of these conversations after speaking with Sarah Dawson and realizing, first of all, how important IDFA in Amsterdam is for the infrastructure of African filmmaking talent, reaching not only European audiences and decision-making structures, but also the global documentary community, and also in general, maybe the structuring effect that IDFA has on our nonfiction storytelling industries. So I thought it would be great actually to check in with somebody who works for a different part of the IDFA infrastructure, namely the IDFA Bertha Fund. This is Melanie De Vocht. Hi, Melanie. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good, great. And so, like IDFA, it is indeed, it's like a small galaxy inside the solar system that is like the nonfiction storytelling industries. But before we get into the details more of how IDFA supports the film, let's say the documentary industry and filmmaking talent more generally, would you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you came to be working at IDFA?
Yes, so my name is Melanie De Vocht. I'm the manager of the IDFA Bertha Fund. I started working at IDFA 2004. I did cultural anthropology, and then I started in the program department, and quite soon there was a vacancy at the IDFA Bertha Fund, which really got my passion. So since then, I think almost already 15 years, I'm working for the IDFA Bertha Fund. And I still really enjoy it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's so nice because every year new projects and new filmmaking talents are appearing in your inbox and in your database to discover.
Yeah, and the longer you work for the fund, the more nice it is, because we receive projects in the development stage, and then at a certain you experience their whole process till their film is finished, and hopefully selected for IDFA, and then you're standing next to them celebrating their world premiere at IDFA, and that's really such a big reward for us also. So it's really nice to see these projects grow, the filmmakers grow, and experience from beginning to end. No, not at all. No, and I feel very sorry for the filmmakers that don't make it, because it's only around 4 to 5% of the applications we receive that we can actually select. And sometimes filmmakers, they think their project is not good enough, but in a lot of cases, that's just not the case. So I would really always encourage the filmmakers, don't see the rejection as your project is not good enough. Please try again, and and try a different kind of sources and funds, and yeah.
It would be great to know, what does IDFA offer filmmaking talent, in particular from Africa, outside the framework of films that are in the cinema for audiences, or artworks or performances that are somehow connected to the IDFA Film Festival programming department?
So if you come to IDFA, then you can go to the forum. Maybe your project is selected for one of the forum categories. The forum is our co-production and co-financing market. So if you're looking for an international co-producer, you can try to pitch there and find a co-producer. There's the forum pitch. If you're more looking into financing partners or already distribution partners, you can pitch a project there. Maybe you're already more in the rough cut stage. We have the rough cut presentations, or we also have the doc lab pitch that is more for new media immersive projects. If you don't have a project selected to pitch at the forum, you can also go to the forum as an observer, and there are like 3,000 international guests walking around at IDFA. All producers, co-producers, distributors, TV, commissioning editors, other festivals, other filmmakers. So there's so many people to meet and to learn from. So if you go, for example, to be at the forum, to be there as an observer, you can watch other pitches and try to meet up with all the people that are there. At the same time, we have the IDFA Academy taking place during IDFA. A lot of times we have a lot of great, fantastic filmmakers that are having a film in the IDFA program, and we ask them, like, hey, can you guide or do a talk at our academy program? We are selecting around 100 participants to take part in this program. There's a selection for that as well, so you need to check the website to see, to fill out an accreditation form on time. And the program consists of all these big master talks with renowned filmmakers, or it can be smaller roundtables about all kinds of topics, some about filmmaking, some also about how to do a co-production, or about impacts, or how to work with archive. So a lot of different topics. And then another part of the market is the industry program. With an industry badge, you can also go there. So the IDFA Academy, it's a little bit similar in some talks with the IDFA Academy, but the IDFA Academy is more a separate program for first and second time filmmakers, where they are more guided by experienced industry professionals. And the industry program is accessible for everyone with an industry pass.
Great.
And maybe also, is it also nice to tell a little bit about the other training program we have during the year round?
Perfect, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because the deadline for that is the 24th of February already, but we have the IDFA project space. This is taking place year round, or from June to September. It has 2 online modules and 1 in person in Amsterdam. So the online ones are in September and June and September, and in person in Amsterdam is in July. And then we select around 16 projects, and this is a really project-driven program. So you get a tutor, and we start with online, getting to know the group, some masterclasses online, some group sessions and individual sessions with your tutor already, and then the week in Amsterdam it's really intense working on the project. And this is really, the focus is on strengthening the narrative. Mm-hmm. Can be either in development or early production, or can be in the rough cut stage. And then in June we have again an online module with again some a master talk and some follow-up conversations about your project.
Mm-hmm. But also you don't have any restriction on which country a filmmaker comes from to invite them to participate in project space, right?
For project space, we don't have any restriction for that, no. But there is a fee involved, and you need to get to Amsterdam for the in-person week. So it might be financially a bit difficult to participate if you don't have any other support in, or like a travel grant or anything. Yeah.
But this seems like a good moment maybe to then transition into the financial support that IDFA offers filmmakers. So can you tell us more about what the IDFA Bertha Fund does in general, and how you support not just filmmakers from Africa, but maybe the documentary landscape in general?
We give grants. And we have what we call 2 funding schemes, the IDFA Bertha Fund Classic and the IDFA Bertha Fund Europe. In the IDFA Bertha Fund Classic, we have a development category and a production and post-production category. we are really focused on the filmmakers that are really living and working and have the nationality from what we call an IBF country, which is merely the countries in South America, Africa, Asia, and Middle East. We also have the IBF Europe funding scheme. In this funding scheme, we actually support sort of the same kind of projects from the same regions and countries, but here it's more the European co-producer that can apply. So, for example, a filmmaker from South Africa, they can apply for the IBF Classic funding scheme, and maybe later on they'll find a European co-producer, and then their European co-producer can apply in the IBF Europe funding scheme. So if you have received funding in one of these funding schemes, then we see you as one of our selected projects, and then we'll guide you through the whole process. If you like, you can also say, no, just give me the money and I'll make the film, and I'll let you know when it's done. That's also okay. But if you like to have more guidance here and there, or if you like to join the training programs that IDFA has to offer, then we'll help you to do that. And then we'll also help you in traveling to Amsterdam, and with hotel costs and per diem, and to help you with visa, because we also know from a lot of countries it's quite difficult to get a visa. Besides the training programs, we also answer lots of questions about festival strategy and how to go into a co-production, or what is a good sales agent to work with, all that kind of questions filmmakers have to deal with. We are trying to help them out also.
I have a question about development and production. So you say that filmmakers can apply in these two categories. What do you think is, like, what for you is development and what for you is production? Could you maybe elaborate a little bit on those two categories?
Development, sometimes you can be already in production, but you still need to develop certain elements. So it's indeed a sort of blurry border between these two stages. But if you apply for development, then we expect you to really work, that you still need to develop something like, for example, a fundraising teaser, that you think like, okay, I'm trying these funds, these production funds, but actually I don't have a good teaser to show to actually get these funds. So you can spend the money on that, or maybe you're still struggling with the narrative and you need more time to really write the sort of script, or you like really have research to do, or dig into archive, or so any thing that you can think of, like the research or development, then you can ask for development grant. And you also need to explain like what do you need to develop then. So it can be either in terms of materials or story structure or archive or whatever research you still need to do. Then for production, that can be any stage of production. We do experience a lot of time that filmmakers apply too early for production, though, that for their feeling they're in the start of production, but they are still struggling a little bit with the precise storyline or structure. So it would be really good to have a very clear vision of how my documentary will look like and what will be sort of the story from beginning, middle, end. How am I going to visualize the whole story? What am I going to do with sound, with cinematography, with the edit, with structure? If that is all not clear yet, it's not a good moment to already apply for production, because then you still apparently have something to develop, and then you can better apply for development. And then later on you can also apply in a later stage if you're more in a rough cut stage and you need some money to finalize the edits and post-production costs.
And so like I often hear also filmmakers saying we're looking for post-production funding. Is that something that IDFA Bertha offers?
Yeah, that's also possible. Yeah, I would advise to apply a little bit earlier when you didn't yet have, you don't have yet a picture locked version. And also a selection process takes time. So for example, when our deadline is the 10th of December, and then we have the results the end of February. And a possible grant can only be spent on activities that still take place after the selection meeting. So if you apply the 10th of December and you're planning to do all the post-production activities in January and February, then it's too late for us to give a grant, actually. So you really need to be on time to apply for funding, actually. But I think all funds work like that.
Yeah. Do you have a separate call for post-production funding, or is it under the umbrella of production funding?
It's one category: production and post-production funding. Yeah. And you can be in post-production stage already to apply, but we still call it a production and post-production grant. So and maybe if you're like really at the end of post-production, then we only do the payments a bit different. So we give you a little bit more for the first payment, because then you get all these expensive post-production costs. But in general, there's not much difference. That's the only difference in the grants we give for production and post-production.
Perfect. Great. And do you think when you're in the selection process, are you concerned about like particular topics or themes? I mean, I know, of course, the most important thing filmmakers can do is make sure that their country is eligible for IDFA Bertha funding, which in the case of Africa, the continent of Africa, I think you cover all the countries on the continent of Africa. But are there peculiarities or particularities of the fund that you think is important to share?
Yes, I think we don't really look at certain topics or themes. It can really be all kind of topics. I think the most important we are looking at is more if it's a creative documentary. And by that, I mean that filmmakers are really using the visual language to tell their story. So that they also be able to explain to us how they use cinematography, sound, edit, structure to tell their story. And we receive quite a lot of applications that they just write about the story they're going to tell, and that's it. And then we don't have any idea, like, okay, but you're going to make a film out of it, so how you're going to visualize that film. And that, I think, is maybe the most important part of the whole application, together with the material in which we can see already a little bit of this visualization.
And do you have one granting cycle or more than one granting cycle per year?
We have 2 for classic, and that's always the 10th of December and the 10th of June. And then we have 1 for the IDFA Europe, and that's this year, the 1st of April.
Super. Great. Okay, so this is like, now we come to my 2 favorite parts. Do you have like 1 or 2 films? Because I really realize now, after doing a few of these interviews, it's very unfair to ask people their favorite films that they've supported. But maybe do you have 1 or 2 titles that you're really proud from Africa that you have supported?
Yes. Let me see. We had The Last Shelter. That was really nice, from Samaseku. Zinder, we supported. They're doing now a really great impact campaign in Mali. So we're really proud of that film. Let me think of more. I forgot the title.
You could also say filmmakers. I'm happy to open this up as a food.
I'm not good at names out of my head. We would love to receive more filmmakers from Africa, though. Do
you accept applications only in English or also in French or in Portuguese?
Not in Portuguese, but we do accept in French. And then from West Africa. Yeah.
What do you think we could be doing, like in the European decision-making kind of framework, to support talents from Africa more?
I think it's really important that they are able to travel to international festivals and trainings. And also we are still a little bit struggling with that we don't have the finances to give grants. So, but it would be really great if there would be more travel grants so they can really go to all these international trainings and festivals, because that's really the place to meet people, to watch other documentaries. And we always experience when filmmakers are coming to IDFA and how much they get out of it. And also when we're organizing IDFA, we also try to pay attention to like, okay, who would like to come to IDFA and how can we help out here and there. Also filmmakers that have a film in the program that are sometimes from difficult countries and need a little bit more support in getting a visa. And then we're trying to find some extra other organizations that can help out with the travel as well.
That's perfect. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I'm wishing you all the very best for your upcoming deadlines. And yeah, a big hug to everybody at IDFA for taking such good care of us all.
Thank you for inviting me. And yeah, people, we are very approachable of funds, and it's people can always email us if they have questions, and we try to be there. So if you don't catch us on a festival, then you can still try to reach us by email. So
great.
Yeah, thanks for this interview.
Thank you so much.
Hot in my house, but yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too. Bye.